Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back in here for another edition of Draft Talk. In today's topic, we will be talking about the tight end class, right? You know, at first I had a opinion about the tight end class, but as I continue to go along, it kind of changed just a tad bit, but nonetheless, it's interesting, right? Because all in all, do I think it's real strong? I do not think it's real strong this year. Is there some gems? Yes, there's some gems in here, right? Out of the 10 that I looked at, there's definitely some gems in the tight end class. Is there some debatable? From what I've seen and what people talk about, I definitely have a difference of opinion on a couple of these tight ends, right? And we're gonna get into that one. But nonetheless, man, how y'all doing, right? So, also, let me put this out there. For those of y'all who have a Facebook, I am now on Facebook. You can follow me at the same name, chopping it up with 2 times. If you have TikTok, you can follow me there as well, and on IG as well, right? And of course, YouTube, right? Of course, right? So it's interesting. This tight end class, I didn't gonna lie, like, and there's a tight end that I watched last night, right? He happened to be the last one that I watched, but he actually, you know, kind of caught my attention. When I looked at CBS, I seen that he was rated lower, and I'm like, that maybe I hope that's something that's lowered, right? Like I hope that's just something that they did before this draft process, before everything. Because I'm like, him being that low, no. Because instantly I had to raise him up high, right? I'm like, hold up. Because I started making my top 5. And then when I watched him, I was like, you know what? Somebody got to leave my top 5. Because he's definitely a top 5 tight end. Definitely, most def, right? So let me make sure my mic is right. All right, let's do this. So, with that being the case, the first in our first order of business, we have Michael Mayer, 6'4", 265, Notre Dame. Now, with Michael Mayer, it gives me like how can I like a Dan, I wouldn't say a Dan Campbell vibe. You see, Michael Mayer is more like the tight end that you would have back in the day, right? Good size, soft hands, right? But in today's, usage of tight ends, today, the modern day tight end, he's at a disadvantage. So let's go ahead and talk about, Michael Mayer, right? So like I said, 6'4", 265, Notre Dame. He gives effort when he blocks. He definitely gets yards after the catch, right? He's very strong, right? Notre Dame uses him as a lead blocker. He lines up wide, right? He uses his size to body up, to bully corners, right? When I seen corners, he bullied them with that size, right? He's not a twitchy athlete, but he is a complete tight end. And when the ball was in the air, I seen him attack the football. With him being 6'4", 265, he's a red zone target. And even though he's big, he adjusts to the football very well, right? I see him dive for the football. See him contort his body some for the football, right? Sneaky athleticism, but he's not a twitchy athlete, and he's not, I wouldn't expect Michael Mayer to run no 4.5, right? But he definitely runs some good routes, especially the in breaking routes and over the middle. He high points the football as far as him attacking, right? And that's crucial, especially for my 6'4" tight end. I want you high pointing the football. And he uses his body to break a lot of tackles, right? I seen somebody compare him to Gronkowski. I wouldn't compare him to Gronk, but definitely I can see what they were talking about as far as Gronk like. In order to separate, he's going to have to use more of his route running and physicality, because as far as separating just off of pure, just like quickness and speed, it's just not about to happen, right? Like I said, more of an old school tight end, right? And the cool thing about it is, right? See, the cool thing about it is, look at Jason Witten, right? Jason Witten never has speed, but with the route running and craftiness, he always was open, right? And Michael Mayer definitely can have that type of effect, right? He definitely can use his route running and his strength to get open, right? You see, you don't always have to be just fast just to get open, right? If you run good routes, it's kind of like when I talked about with Jackson Smith from Ohio State, right? He ain't no burner, but he has good route running. And when you have good route running, you have a chance, right? But the reason why you would love an athlete is because with good route running and with your athleticism, you are dangerous, right? Let's look at Kelce, right? Travis Kelce has longevity, right? Not only because, he is a masterpiece when he runs routes, but he has the athleticism, right, to keep that separation, right? And once he routed you, he's going to you see Travis Kelce all the time get separation. And that's one of the best things about him, right? And Michael Mayer, the way that the NFL is played and you can't touch people and yada, 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 Michael Mayer, he definitely is one of the best tight ends, and he definitely will have success at the NFL level, right? He definitely, see, when you get back to the basics, when you get back to that old school way of doing things, I'm sorry, but the old school way, it never fails, right? And the soft ends that Michael Mayer possesses, it won't fail him. He'll be all right. And he'll be good, right? He'll be one of the better. He's one of the better tight ends in the draft class. However, I've seen a lot have him as the best. I've seen Daniel Jeremiah didn't, but I don't have him as the best, because who I think is the best in this class is who we will talk about next, which is Dalton Kincaid. Dalton Kincaid, 6'4", 240, out of Utah. Vertical threat. He's a willing blocker, but he can use some strength, and that'll come along as he continues to develop his grown man body. He himself high points the football, right? There's a 25-pound difference with him and Mayer. I've seen a lot of linebackers struggle with him. The USC linebackers struggle with him, right? He was giving USC the business, right? He's an all three level tight end. And what I mean by all three level is not only can he run deep, go deep, but he can attack you effectively in the intermediate routes and shorter routes, right? All three levels, right? And when you have a passing target, that's crucial to have somebody that that's a threat on all three levels, right? Because there's some tight ends in this class that I wouldn't normally want them on the third level, which is the deeper level. They're more of short to intermediate type of tight ends, right? Which is fine. But In today's tight end, you want it all, right? Very good athlete. I can see him running a 4.5, if not faster. He's what we was talking about earlier, which is the modern day tight end. Good body control. I've seen that he was relatively new to football. And for him being relatively new to football and he's already this good, man, that's the sky's the limit for him. Too fast for linebackers and too big for cornerbacks, y'all. He's a mismatch nightmare. He's somebody that I can see go top 15, right? He's a reliable target, just like Meyer is. You can line him up wide. You see the difference between him and Meyer, probably his experience and speed. That's the only difference, you know? And I'm telling you, when you got that speed, quickness, that short area quickness, man, you are a problem for opposing. See, there's a reason why that even though you know that in Kansas City, Kelce is going to be the number one target, and you try to go ahead and put that attention on Travis Kelce, there's a reason why he's still always open. Not only is it something that he was blessed to have with as far as athletic ability, but something up here. And as he continues to grow, I'm talking about Dalton Kincaid, as he continues to grow, he's gonna be a heck of a tight end, y'all. He's gonna be a heck of a tight end. I can actually see him filling out to about 250. Right? See, a lot of these tight ends, man, is around this 6'4" to 6'6" height, 240 to 250, right? On average, that's what I was seeing with these tight ends, man, as far as height and weight, as far as them coming out, right? Dalton Kincaid definitely stood out to me, and Dalton Kincaid is definitely the best tight end. And I think it's Michael Meyer and Dalton Kincaid, and it's everybody else, right? Not saying there's not no good tight ends underneath them, but as far as being a class of the tight end position, it's definitely Dalton Kincaid. Definitely Dalton Kincaid out of Utah. I definitely like him. And now let's talk a little bit real quick, right? So when it comes to Dalton Kincaid and the fit with Cowboys, see, we talk about the need for a wide receiver, right? I'm going to tell you what, if you can get a tight end such as Dalton Kincaid or even a Michael Meyer, that'll definitely help Dak Prescott, right? You see, if they want to go ahead and continue to be cheap, right? See the cool thing is, look, so you got Gallup. That's hit or miss. I don't know if he'll ever recover again. Well, guess we're going to find out. You got CD. I take it they're not going to go ahead and give up on Tolbert. And I take it that Turpin will have some type of role in the wide receiver room this year, right? So that's 4 wide receivers taking up space, right? That's 4 wide receivers that you're kind of relying upon. EJ, that's who I wrote down. I didn't look. I'm gonna check him out. I'm gonna check him out today. And I didn't check out EJ. I knew I wrote him down somewhere and I couldn't find a paper. I knew I was missing something. Dang. Front office, I didn't get to check out EJ. Dang. I'm gonna check him though. Let me see. Hold up. Let me write that down real quick. Let me write that down in a real book. I'll probably do a video dedicating to EJ Jenkins for you. I'll do an upload for him. Let me write that down for you. EJ Jenkins. Upload. Let me take this sweater off real quick, y'all. I'm kind of hot. Give me a second. Give me 1 second, y'all. Whew. God. There we go. I feel better now. Boy, that was kind of, man. There you go. Whew. Man. I feel so much better now. All right, let's get into this. Let me see. There we go. All right. So, yeah, I'm gonna do an upload for you. I got you, front office. I knew I was missing somebody, man. I was like, man, I couldn't find the paper. I'm glad you brought that up. So yeah, I got you on the upload. But see, look, transferred a few times. Okay. Well, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to do the best that I can with EJ. If I give film on him, I'm gonna do an upload for him. If I can find a film for him, I'll do an upload for you. If I can't, I'm gonna see if I can find somebody who got it. You know, but yeah, I'll do some digging for you on that one. Matter of fact, give me a second. Let me see. Here, I'll tell you right now. Give me 1 second. Let me see if he up there. EJ Jenkins. Georgia Tech. EJ Jenkins. Yeah, you're right about the film. You're right on the film. Yeah, you're right on that. Dang. Yeah, I'll try to do some digging though. I'll try to do some digging. I'll try to do some digging for you. See what I can find. If I can't find none, at least I tried. I gave it my best. But I'll do my best. But yeah, Georgia Tech, South Carolina. Okay. He went to 2. Okay. So yeah, with I believe that if the Dallas Cowboys, right, if they're gonna keep the wide receiving core mainly intact, I believe you pull the trigger on somebody like a Dalton Kincaid. Because Dak Prescott and this offense needs as many weapons as possible. And I always go back to the Jermichael Finley thing, right? Mike McCarthy had Jermichael Finley. Mike McCarthy was one of the ones who had that wide receiver type at tight end, man. And even though Jermichael Finley had an injury problem, right? He had a little bit of an injury problem. When he was healthy, he was a mismatch nightmare playing for the Packers. Mismatch nightmare. Mismatch nightmare. Right? And Dalton Kincaid will bring them. I always talk about, so look at the Patriots. Remember with the Patriots, right? Aaron Hernandez, Gronk, right? They had a speed power type of connection at the tight end, right? When Brady didn't really have at times, sometimes I believe it was about a year or two, when he didn't have that elite outside type of connection, when he didn't have the Mosses and stuff, right? So there was a time, I believe it was a year, where it was just like, what was it, like Edelman, Amendola, and the tight ends, if I'm not mistaken. But he used the mess out of them tight ends, right? He used Aaron Hernandez and Gronk, right? Then you knew that, hey, either Gronk was getting off or Aaron Hernandez was getting off, right? You knew them boys was going to get off. And Aaron Hernandez brought more of a vertical type of thing, the speedy thing. Gronk was more of your power type of thing, but Gronk could go vertical as well, though. So that's why defenses had so much of a problem with them two tight ends. And I believe that, I don't know what Dallas going to do. Hopefully Dallas go ahead and upgrade this wide receiving core. But if for some reason that they just was hard-headed and didn't, but I think that they need to pull the trigger on getting one of these tight ends that could provide a mismatch for this team. So my next one that I'm talking about is Luke Musgrave, right? He has a football background. I believe, man, what's his people's name? Is it Bill, the little commentator? I think that's like his uncle or something, if I'm not mistaken. 6'6", 250, Oregon State. Big target, red zone threat for sure. Reliable hands. He works his best up the middle in them seam routes, right? But to me, looking at Musgrave, he's more of a 2 tight end type of player, right? 12 personnel will probably be his best friend, right? I wouldn't necessarily. I see that he was ranked kind of high, and I don't believe that to be the case. He's in my top 5, but he's not in my top 3. But nonetheless, right, he comes from football, right, which is good, which is always good, right? So now he got that mentality toward football, right? Even though I seen him line up wide, I personally will probably want him lined up as a traditional tight end in line. He's not overly explosive. He's not the strongest, nor did I see him get much separation. I did see when watching the tape that he needs to play through contact a lot better, right? It's best to put him, like I said, in line because of his physical limitations and his lack of explosiveness, right? Luke Musgrave, he would be somebody that you would want to get, to be honest with you. And I wouldn't probably spend no more than all depends how strong the draft is, right? If it the highest I would go is maybe a late 3rd, early 4th, right? Probably a late 3rd, especially if you're in need of another tight end, because it ain't like he a bum. He's not a bum. He definitely can do some things for you. He definitely can help a team, especially in the red zone, right? Big target. But as far as him as being your number 1 tight end, I mean, the way that the tight end situations is kind of weak in today's game, he probably could be a number 1 tight end for some teams. But if you can use him more in that double tight situation and with a tight end next to him, I believe you probably be able to get the most out of him in 2 tight end situations, right? But Luke Musgrave is definitely a quality player, definitely a quality player, right? The next we are going to is old Darnell Washington. 6'7", 270, Georgia. I'll be honest with you. I'm not high on him. He gives me Rico Gathers vibes, right? Y'all remember how the hype was on Rico? Oh, he's a basketball player. The athleticism is crazy. You'll see him do some good things in practice, maybe catch a nice touchdown in preseason, and all of the hype is just on him, right? And I believe that's the same thing when I see people talk about Darnell Washington, right? To me, Darnell's not even in my top 5. And the tight end class, to me, is not that strong. And he's not even in the top 5 to me, right? But nonetheless, he's a very big target, and he actually has pretty good hands, right? But when I seen him block, I see that he was high a lot of the times. And I know a lot of that is to attribute to his 6'7" height, right? To me, I didn't see much of a mover. And what I mean by that is he kind of labors getting out of his breaks, right? I believe that, the separation is going to be tough for him, right? If you're going to throw it to him and what I've seen at Georgia, you got to throw it to him in his area, and he got to use all of his length to be able to go get that ball, right? It's like he got a rebound, right? If you put him in a rebound position, he'll get it, right? Because he got good hands. Like I said, he got good hands, right? You put him in a rebound position, he gonna get it, right? Red zone target, definitely would throw at him, right? But as far as using him between the 20s, I believe that you'll probably struggle doing that, right? He remind me of a Sean Oakman, right? All height, right? Got all the physical characteristics, but the play won't live up to it. And that's kind of what I get from Sean Oakman, y'all. Right? And that's kind of what I get for him, right? He's just, because of his size, he's just gonna have a whole bunch of limitations, right? That's just natural, right? He just labors, right? So if I can only use you in goal line situations and to try to, use you maybe in a jump ball, maybe a back shoulder type situation, I need to be able to use you, if I want to press down the middle of the field. And if you laboring in between your breaks, getting out of your breaks, and all you can do is just maybe be a bulldozer after you get the ball in your hands, right? See, now you in the NFL. They're bigger and faster. So, and then when I seen that Georgia was, they scared to tackle him. Man, especially back in the day, man, you chalk them legs down, right? You go after them legs. And I believe he had a foot injury, if I'm not mistaken. And foot injuries with people his size, that's something to take precaution in, right? With them foot injuries, man. But I'm not high on him, y'all. I'm just not, right? He just one of them guys that he don't do it for me, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie to you. He don't do it for me. I don't believe in him, right? But a team later down the line that maybe want to get some red zone, right? Maybe want some size, and go ahead and will he get drafted? Probably, but not as high as people say. People, I seen somebody had him in the top 50 prospects. I'm like, top 50? He ain't even a top 5 tight end. How he top 50 prospect? So that's my thing, because a tight end that can move in and out of breaks, man, that's a tight end that's going to have, priority over him. And there's a few tight ends that have just that. So I'm like, Darnell, because he ain't even the best. He wasn't even the best tight end at Georgia. Now that other one at that tight, I think it's Bowers. I like him. That's somebody that I can get jiggy with, right? That's somebody that that hey, if you ain't gonna go get tight end next year, if that's available to you, man, I might want to pull something on them this next year. But I don't see much from him, right? Other than him having good hands, other than him being a big target and people being scared to tackle him. That's all I could see that he gave me, right? As far as at Georgia. But yeah, I hate to down a man before he even start playing though, but unless he's about to prove me wrong on this one. I don't believe in him. He's gonna have to prove me wrong on that one, y'all. I ain't even gonna lie to you. He's gonna have to prove me wrong, man. I understand that people get love and infatuated with height, weight, speed guys and big guys and yada yada yada. But we got to be real. How does it translate to the next level? And I don't see what he does will translate very well to the next level. If Rico Gathers struggled, then what makes it this man? Because Rico Gathers was a better mover than he was. And that's a fact. So how would somebody of this caliber, 6'7", almost 300 pounds, be able to move, right? He don't have no move. Like a route runner, he's not developed. He's not going to get separation. And he labors in and out of breaks. And as a modern day tight end, you need your tight end being able to get in and out of breaks, right? See, all your tight ends for the Cowboys get in and out of breaks, right? All Kelsey, Waller, they get in and out of breaks. Kittle get in and out of breaks. Mark Andrews get in and out of breaks. Hockenson gets in and out of breaks. So you got all these tight ends getting in and out of breaks, and you think that this tight end is going to be an exception because he's 6'7"? Nah, I don't think so, y'all. But if you prove me wrong, hey, shout out to you, though. But I just don't believe in it. I ain't gonna lie, I don't believe in it. But my next one is Luke Schoonmaker, 6'6" out of 6'6", 250 out of Michigan. Luke Schoonmaker, he was a solid option. He's decent tight end, y'all, right? He's and when we was talking about, right, not all the tight ends is not a third level type of tight end. He's one of them, right? He's somebody that not only did I see Michigan use him in this, but it could translate to the next league, right? Being a reliable short to intermediate first and second level target, right? Good blocker. I've seen him seal the edges, right? A lot what I seen him was used was crossers, flats, and seams, right? And that can go ahead and be something good for him on the next level. I didn't see no the catchability from him, right? I seen it every time he got the ball, he was kind of getting tackled, right? Soon as contact hit him, he was getting tackled, right? He wasn't a high volume target, didn't get much receiving production out of him, but if you're gonna play for under Harbaugh, you guys will be able to be some type of functional blocker, right? He's a tight end 2 at best, and like I said, he ain't making nobody miss. But he's definitely a solid tight end, though, right? He's definitely, like I said, at best, a number 2 tight end, right? And, he can do some of the good things. And, I think he can have a solid career, right? He ain't going to be you ain't going to be talking about him as no top 7, tight end. But as far as being able to, have a decent career, I could see Schoonmaker having a decent career, being a number 2, number 3 type of tight end. So Cameron Latu out of Alabama, 6'5", 244. With him, I seen him used in motion a lot. I seen him lined up out wide. He was used in a downfield receiving threat. He was a red zone target. I've seen a lot of the times, man, that he'll hit him with that little shimmy move, and then he'll break inside, and usually he would get open like that, especially in the red zone, right? I've seen a lot of his route tree was him breaking to the outside, though, right? And I definitely seen when Bryce Young was in scramble drill, he had the awareness to be, put himself in a decent position to be able to, be of service in the scramble drill. I see that he's a willing blocker. He gets movement, right, in his blocking some. He has run after the catch ability, right? He does have run after the catch ability. But his knock is that he doesn't have a burst. He doesn't have a burst on him or no speed. And that's going to affect his ability to get separation, right? And, he can make moves to get open, but the question is, can he sustain it, though? With him lacking that burst and that separation, will he give safeties and linebackers, especially these athletic ones, a chance to catch up, right? Because it kind of takes him a while to get going, but he definitely got good hands, though. And Alabama used him definitely a lot on the move. But his knock is that, you're 6'5", 244, 245, but you don't have no burst. You don't have no speed. And if anything, it takes you a while to get going. That will probably be a big issue for him. That's going to be an issue for him, y'all. That's going to be an issue for him. But, man, that using him, you probably going to have to use him in special ways, y'all. I'm not even going to lie. Like, it's not more of that he don't got it because, Michael Mayer doesn't have that burst and that speed, right? But one thing about Michael Mayer is that he going to run them good routes, and then when he going to use that physical nature that he has to in his route running to be able to get open like Jason Witten. And I don't know if Cameron Latu will be able to have that craftiness of getting open, right, and sustaining it, right? I think that he might struggle a lot, right? And this is where I say that the tight end position is a little, it's a little underwhelming, right? It's not big this year, right? It's either you're gonna have to get the top ones, or you're gonna have to go ahead and get one of them ones that toward the end that got the good traits, man, and try to make them try to find a Dallas Goedert out of them or something, right? The next tight end that I observed was Davis Allen out of Clemson, 6'6", 250, right? And one thing about Davis Allen, right, because man, DJ, we'll call him you because I can't really pronounce his name, right? What's going on, T-Dub? What's going on, Hoodlum? He has toughness, and if they're looking for a blocking tight end, well, there's a tight end. Well, the next couple tight ends after Davis Allen, I think that will probably be better fitted for that one front office after Davis. Well, after the next couple before that, right? There's a couple tight ends that fit to what you say, right? And Davis Allen, like I said, 6'6", 250, Clemson. He high points the football. That's one thing about him, right? Everything that I've seen with him, he was high pointing the football, whether it be a back shoulder fade and DJ, we call him DJU out of Clemson. I can't pronounce his last name. DJU out of Clemson definitely had him as a safety valve, right? He got good ball skills, right? And in the red zone, he was always being looked out for, right? Willing blocker. I seen, especially in the red zone, he uses his body. He boxes out real well. He's a safety blanket type of dude, right? Very trusted. He was used in a lot of check down situations and in the quick passing game. Hands is very good. He could work the seam. He was lined up wide. But his knock, right, is a decent athlete. He's not very twitchy, but he could be deceptive at times, but he's not a twitchy athlete, not fast. And but he was underutilized in Clemson. I think that even though that he doesn't possess the twitchy nature of what you want in your modern day tight end, I believe that you still can get more passing production out of him at the next level because he has a very good catch radius, right? When you put that ball, right, whether it be here, he gonna go get it, right? Good hands, right? Like if he was faster, you definitely would be talking about him as one of them top tight ends, right? But his lack of athletic ability is what is going to bring him down some, right? But definitely can be a reliable target. Well, probably will be. I definitely see that, him having, just by his catch radius and his good hands alone, I believe that's going to go ahead and give him a decent career in the NFL, right? Number one tight end, I don't see the number one tight end in him, but I see a decent, good tight end in him because we need 2-3 tight ends. Every team need about 2 or 3 of them, right? And I definitely, if Blake Bell and all of them can go ahead and have careers, then Davis Allen definitely going to have him a decent career in the NFL, right? He might be a little bit of a journeyman, but I definitely can see Davis Allen having a decent career because of his catch radius and hands and him being a good red zone target. The next one, though, right? The next one is interesting. Tucker Kraft out of South Dakota State, 6'5", 255. And now when we talking about this Dallas Goedert type of thing, this one can come out of Tucker Kraft, right? Tucker Kraft definitely has the intangibles and the ability to be able to become a number one type of tight end, right? Yeah, Jay Bird, I agree, Jay Bird. Yeah, I like him. It's just that the only thing with him is just his lack of athletic ability. If he, like I said, if he had the athletic ability, if he had just a little bit more speed, he'd be a real problem. But definitely underutilized, though. I definitely agree with you on that one. Because I'm like, man, when I seen some of the struggle that DJU had, I'm like, man, just go to Davis Allen. Because Davis Allen, He was always a safety blanket. Every time I seen him look in the red zone, it would always go to Davis Allen. Every time I looked at he be in trouble, he will always look for Davis Allen. I'm like, man, you need to be going to him more on the early downs. But hey, what do I know, right? But yeah, Tucker Kraft, he lined up in a slot, right? He was used a lot in the run game, right? And right, like a lot of the blocking, like he was used a lot in lead blocking situations out the backfield. And the crazy thing about it is he's 6'5", 255, and I think he can get even stronger, right? I've seen him get tossed on some blocks, but he is a willing blocker and a good blocker, though. And I think when he becomes a little bit stronger, I think he could become a very good blocker, if not excellent. He was used on the move a lot. Right now, he's more of a wall-off blocker. He shows some good speed and fluid movement for that size of being 6'5", 255. He was very fluid in his movement. He has good short area quickness, and you can line him up pretty much anywhere. I heard he had a drop problem, but I didn't see it. So I just put that in there, but I didn't see it in watching the film. So I don't know if he had a drop problem because off the film that was available to me, I didn't see it. So that's why I didn't put it down. But I just put that down, just because I may have heard of it. So if somebody may be familiar with him, be like, yeah, he got a drop problem, then that hey, it's just what it is, right? But a lot of the times, man, when you hear me talk about a drop problem, a lot of the times be concentration drops, though. A lot of players have concentration drops, right? Or they want to go ahead and move a run before they secure the catch. And that'd be a lot of these players' problem, though. But Tucker Kraft, though, he definitely has number one tight end potential. And he definitely can be a gem, right? And he definitely will probably go higher than maybe what he's being talked about right now. I definitely see Tucker Kraft being a good tight end, if he develops all the way. If he gets in a situation that's going to bring the most out of him, he can be a good number one tight end. So I see Tucker Kraft, right? The physical traits is there. Now the thing is you're going to put them all together. So if you're looking for a project, you're looking for a future number one tight end, Tucker Kraft, man, might be your guy. Tucker Kraft might be your guy. And if you put Tucker Kraft with Ferguson, I think that'll be a good mix as well. To be honest with you, I think that'll be a good mix. Now, front office, here we go. Here's a player that fits the build, I think, more than Cameron Latu as far as toughness, as far as, in what you want. Braden Willis, 6'4", 239 out of Oklahoma, right? He's a reliable target, good receiver, right? Now, he was used in a whole bunch of ways, whether it be out wide, in line, in the backfield, H-back, quarterback. He was used in a variety of ways, and he had a disservice to him because even though he was under good offensive coordinators, Lincoln Riley and then Lebby, he had to learn a whole new system. But the good thing about him is whether it be under Lincoln Riley or Lebby, he still produce. So that tells me no matter what the system is, the player's still going to be good. So with that, right, I think he's one of them gems that because he was used in a lot of blocking situations, especially with Lincoln Riley. He has the quickness to separate and definitely was a weapon over the middle, right? There was some, even though he didn't ran like, he wasn't proficient in running a whole route tree, he definitely ran enough route trees to know that, when you add this piece to the puzzle, he's going to be able to execute that on a high level. He still ran some good routes, man. He definitely had some things where he will stick nod, man. He'll break on the inside very good. He'll go ahead and take you deep and then all of a sudden break you inside with a whole bunch of separation, which is very good because the athleticism is there for him, right? He can high point the football. He hustles. He's a special teams player, right? He got wildcat reps, whether it be the runner or at quarterback. And a lot of the times he was used as a blocker on the move, right? But if you're going to use him as a blocker in line, then he probably needs to get stronger for that, right? but he has that mindset and could be a very good player for a team. And now, if you're looking for somebody that can go ahead and put the effort in and develop more, and special teams, you know how we like to get all these little gadget players. You able to do have versatility. Braden Willis might be your guy. Braden Willis definitely might be your guy on that one, right? I like Braden Willis, right? Even though it's an Oklahoma thing, you know, I quick to tell you if he trash or not. Braden Willis, he's somebody, man. You grab him in fifth, sixth round, you're gonna get a good player. You're gonna get a good player. Shit, he might, so judging by how the tight end position is so weak, he might go before that. Now, here's a guy, right, that also might fit with your front office that I think should be talked about just a little bit more. And his name is Sam Laporta, 6'4", 249 out of Iowa. I like Sam Laporta, man. I definitely spent a little bit more extra time because I enjoy watching his tape, man. I like Sam Laporta, man. Sam Laporta, hey, he's a fighter, right? He breaks a lot of tackles. He got good run after the catch ability. He's a 3-level target, a vertical target. And I seen that he was a former wideout as well. So he's one of them bigger wideouts that deserve tight end. So he got them wideout skills, right? In line and can line up wide and did it real well. He blocks because you know them Iowa tight ends. You know they got to block. And he's competitive at it. He's a very good athlete. And he's starter quality. He's definitely got number one quality. He definitely can be a number one tight end at the next level. Facts, right? 3-level target, reliable, good hands. The only thing that I've seen with him that he needs to work on is being able to sustain blocks. But other than that, he's a very competitive blocker, right? I've seen him being able to – I've seen cornerbacks slide on him, and he giving cornerbacks the business. I've seen him sticking the foot in the ground and just going in inside. I'm like, oh, when I see you stick that foot, when I see you line up wide and you stick that foot on the ground and you beat them in the inside, a corner, you got something. You got something at that tight end position right there. And Sam Laporta, he definitely got that. He definitely got that. I like Sam Laporta, man. You know, so if I'm looking at tight end, right, off the ones that I've seen so far, y'all, if Dallas Cowboys going to go with tight ends, man, Sam Laporta, Braden Willis, Tucker Kraft, let me see. Who the other one? Oh, Dalton Kincaid and Michael Mayer. Them the tight ends, man, that I'm like, okay. If you're going to go tight end, man, go with one of them, right? You see, like I said, we don't know what the Dallas Cowboys is going to do, whether it be in free agency or this draft right now. We know what they need, but if for some reason they feeling real froggy with Tolbert and keep him, I think it's a must that you go grab one of these higher tight ends. I think so. Right? Even though we got Hendershot, McQuaid, and Ferguson, that's cool. And I'm willing to go into the season with them tight ends as well if we had to. But why not make a position that you're comfortable with stronger? Right? And there's some tight ends, man, that can make this situation stronger. Laporta will make this situation stronger. Kincaid will make this situation stronger. Craw will make that situation stronger. Right? You know, it's just a matter, so it's like so what you want, Mike? Because we know that Mike definitely had 2 tight ends in his system. We know that Mike definitely had 4 wide receivers in his system. So what route did you trying to go? How did you evolve, Mike? Is you still coming with the same viewpoints, the same philosophy that you had in Green Bay, but just modernize it a little bit because the way the NFL has grown? Or is you still that Mike McCarthy? And if that's the case, Mike McCarthy, then you might need to go ahead and pull that thing on Dalton Kincaid. If you're not going to get the wide receiver that we think that you should get, then you might need to go get Dalton Kincaid. Yeah. Oh, you think he the best in the draft? Ooh, you think he over Kincaid, Jay Bird? You think he over Kincaid? I'll sign a wide receiver and draft Porter in the second. Shoot, if he in the second, shit, they gotta grab LaPorta. I like LaPorta, man. Man, I'm looking at I'm getting the list on the CBS, and I see LaPorta was like, what I think they had LaPorta like fourth or fifth year. Why is somebody this good in a fourth or fifth round? LaPorta is probably a top 50 prospect. I said, how is he this low? Like, who? I'm like, I need to find out who made them rankings. I'm like, there's definitely. And the cool thing about it is, I told you I'm doing 10 each to go off. And Sam LaPorta just happened to be the 10th one that I looked at. And I'm looking at my top 5. I'm like, there ain't no way this man is not in my top 5 because Sam LaPorta is a baller. So I was like, man, what is they looking at? Them Iowa tight ends, man. Man, Iowa have been coming through with some decent tight ends lately. You think he going in the second? Yeah. Well, yeah, possible. Yeah, because he's number 1 tight end worthy. So if that's the case, then the Dallas Cowboys is going to have to go ahead and trade. See, look, it's not about whether it's receiver, tight end, or running back. We just know that Dak Prescott needs a surplus of weapons. That's what we do know. We know he needs a surplus of weapons. So whether it be going deep at wide receiver, whether it going deeper at tight end, we know that he just needs weapons. So why not get as many weapons that can be mismatched problems as possible? And Sam LaPorta will definitely help with that. When I seen that man routing cornerbacks, when I seen Sam LaPorta, I said, oh, man, he got it. Because, hey, look, I was up last night, probably about 1:30 in the morning. I was kind of dozing off. And then all of a sudden, man, I looked at Sam. I seen the play. I forgot what game it was, but he routed that quarterback. Man, my eyes was like this. I was like, hold up. I had to adjust the glasses, yo. I'm like, you got my attention. When he stuck that foot in the ground and broke inside, I said, oh, you got my attention. Right. Yeah, I agree, Hoodlum. Yeah, Kincaid is my number 1. If I choose to sit and watch one tight end as class, is LaPorta. LaPorta definitely top 3 for me. I got Michael Myers second and LaPorta third. Hold up, I didn't give y'all my tight end. I didn't get my top 5 list. Let me get my top 5. This is what I got so far, man. It could change as I look at more tight ends in the future. It could, but here are my 5. Where I put my 5 at? Dalton Kincaid, Michael Mayer, Sam LaPorta, Tucker Kraft, and a 5 was split between Luke Musgrave and Braden Willis. Those were my 5 so far. Those were my 5. And I seen front office, he was talking about Latua, and he cool. I'm not against him, right? My only thing with him is just, man, if you just had a little bit more burst on you, we could work things. But I did like how Alabama, though. I mean, Alabama still used him. Well, maybe he needs to probably be more in line then. Because, Alabama did use him a lot out wide, right? He was always in motion. He was always on the move, which is cool. That says a lot about your skill set. But, man, if he just had a little bit more burst to him, we'd be in business, man. We'd be in business. Now, I understand that a tight end, man, that, we come from tight ends running 4.7, 4.8s, and now we expecting to run 4.4s to 4.6s. I understand. But I need my tight end breaking on safeties. I need my tight ends routing up these linebackers. I bet not ever see my tight end getting locked up by a linebacker. I bet not ever see, because you see Kelce. You see what they do with Kelce. If my tight end ain't getting like that, then I got the wrong tight end. If my tight end don't have extra attention, then we got the wrong tight end, y'all. Right? Ferguson, he's a good player, and to be honest with you, I don't know how good he can be. I know he's gonna be good, but I don't know how good he can be yet, right? We definitely seen it. We definitely one thing that kind of stood out to me some was his athletic ability is better than what people probably thought it was coming out the draft, right? You got J-Hop hopping over defenders. He's running decent routes. I seen the way that he was running routes early on, and later on, he definitely took a big leap out of that. So you definitely got if you rolling with old J-Hop third as your number one tight end, then you definitely you got something. But even with J-Hop, why not go ahead, and get you something better, And I know we talked about a little bit about the Atlanta Falcons tight end. I would be open to that as well, right? I would be open to that, right? I like him. See one thing's for sure. One thing that we always seen was Dallas Cowboys always set some type of trend, right? Always set some type of trend. And the recent trend really being, the offensive line, man, when we had, that great offensive line when Zeke was there, right? Now everybody wanted to go ahead, man, and fix with their offensive line, right? Belichick had them nice 2 tight ends, man. Finley had that, right? And we seen, right, when it was Hayden Hurst and Mark Andrews, we seen that, Lamar Jackson never really had some real outside weapons before, right? And we seen that, he was he was pretty good when he had Hayden Hurst and Mark Andrews in the same, in the same class. And you see a whole bunch of 12 tight ends with them 2 being, the main receiving threats, right? I think that if you don't go ahead and pull the thing on getting better at the wide receiving core the way that we think that they should, then I think that going ahead and getting better at the tight end position will definitely do this team some good. You not sold on Michael Mayer? OBJ and Kincaid. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. I think the only thing with Mayer is just the speed element, right? If Mayer had more speed, we'll probably be even talking about him a little higher. But I think the only thing with Mayer is just the speed. But what kind of will offset that is the strength, his play strength that he plays with, right? Him being a bully. But the thing about it is, how long does bully last, right? Gronkowski was a bully, and then Gronkowski had a whole bunch of injury concerns, especially on the upper body, right? And if Michael Mayer is going to be that same bully type of tight end, then how long will we have Michael Mayer is the question, right? Just like J.J. Watt, right? We know that J.J. Watt, man, the way that he sheds blocks, his body going to break down, right? So, he's a good player, but how long will he last, though? And if Michael Mayer is not only going to use his route running, but being able to be a bully and he tossing defenders around, how long will he last? Yeah. So far, I think, at least from what I done watched, at least 4 of them. Definitely the 3. Laporta, Kincaid, and Mayer. Definitely the 3. But that was it. Kraft at that 4. I think that you could probably say it's kind of set in stone that they got that number one tight end type ability, right? So far than what I watched, right? But I don't think the tight end position is too strong this year. So that's why I'm like, if you're gonna go tight end, then you're gonna have to get one of these elite ones. You're gonna have to get one of these tight ends, man, that's number one quality type, and go pull that early, right? You see, it's about collecting the talent, and it's up to your offensive coordinator to do something about it, right? So if we grab Michael Mayer and Kincaid and LaPorta, well, it's up to you to get all four of them tight ends, including J-Hop, on the field and eat and prosper. Is what you got to do with it. That's what we pay you the bucks for, to figure out a way to go ahead and make plays. And we know that Dak Prescott needs them receiving threats, whether it be tight end or out wide, somebody that can win early. And when we got receiving threats that can win early, then that's when Dak Prescott is able to be at his best. But when you having to wait a little bit, you having to wait on developing routes, and you having Dak Prescott going to have to sit over there and him to be on the same page, and Dak Prescott doing all this thinking, then that's when we're probably going to struggle a little bit as far as, man, when it comes to, and that's what he's kind of struggled with this year, last year when it counted. You need weapons that can win one-on-one, that can win their one-on-one matchups. And if you got to sit over here and bracket them, double them, then that's going to make everything better, right? Having him get the ball out quicker will do Dak Prescott a service, right? Having him hold the football will be doing more of a disservice to Dak Prescott. I can't argue with you on that one, Hoodlum. I kind of agree with you on that one. Yeah, I agree with you on that one too, Jay Bird. I agree with you on that one too. I agree with you on that one. I actually seen, I think it was West Coast, talk about that with Ezekiel Elliott, and I agree with that point that he made when him on Ezekiel Elliott as far as jersey sales on that one too. I agree, and it's crazy that you bring that up. Like, that kind of lines it up, right? So not only is he thinking about trying to improve the team, but he thinking about, how is this going to go ahead, and sell jerseys? Because we know that a top wide receiver is going to get more love than a top tight end, right? Even though it's more of like football fans talk about, the top tight ends, but, when you got them top wide receivers, people that don't really watch football every day is going to talk about them, and that's what's going to sell them jerseys, right? Good and well, like with Dez Bryant, right? A lot of women didn't really watch football, but they knew about Dez Bryant, right? They just know about the receivers, and I agree with you on that sentiment that, the wide receivers, it's about the money, and you could look at the whole Jerry Jones, his whole body of work these past 10 years. Has it really been about winning, or has it been about the money? We know that we can get talent, but is it really about the winning, though? Because if it was about the winning, then why you ain't going ahead and taking risks? Because you're supposed to be a risk. You're supposed to be a risk taker. So you say that you are. Have you really been taking risks? Is it really a risk to take the best player available? No. Are you really being risky when you go ahead and pretty much relying on a draft, but you scared because you got hit by Henry Milton and Roy Williams and, all them, you scared that you didn't got hit, and now you don't want to make the mistake again, so you're going to let your mistakes in the past dictate your future? Or are you really a risk taker? Because I thought that if you're a gambler, if you lost today, I thought that tomorrow you still going to come back. But evidently you lost yesterday, Jerry, but tomorrow you ain't came back. So what's really going on, Jerry? I hope so, Hoodlum. I hope so. Because to be honest with you, if this team gonna really go there, we're gonna have to spend a little bit in this free agency, right? Instead of waiting 3-4 days before we go ahead and sign somebody, or signing somebody on the second or third day, and then waiting another couple of days, and all of a sudden on the fourth and fifth day of Christmas, messed around and signed 2 or 3 bodies, man. Nah, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work this year. Not when you got free agents, right? So I'm probably gonna have to do a segment on that too, man, about the free agents that's that Dallas probably need. I'll probably do maybe a top 5 or a top 10 or something, and really talk about, because there's some. I was looking at the free agency list a couple days ago. I'm like, man, shoot, man, and then there was some young ones too, like Edmonds, the big linebacker. Man, Edmonds will help this defense. You know, I seen that the Eagles don't want TJ. What was his name? TJ. It was TJ Edwards. Edwards will help this defense, right? Out of all the Eagles players, I have respect on his name. Edwards will help. Even Long a little bit will help. There was a Wagner will help. That's just off the top of the dome piece. Man, I might have to go ahead and do some film sessions, man, on the wide on some of these linebackers, man, because I think that linebacker should be addressed in free agency this year. I really do. I think it should be addressed in free agency this year. I honestly do. I'm about to probably do a film session on that. I'm about to probably work on that, y'all. I'm about to probably do a film session, man, because I honestly think that linebacker should be addressed in free agency. I think that cornerback should be addressed in free agency as well. I know I wouldn't spend no money in free agency on no tight end. That's why I'm saying now there's some tight ends, man, that if they're available for you, if they ain't within your grasp and your guys ain't there, that they probably will do better by taking them type of tight ends, right? See, even though we're not saying that it's just a great need, but if you got the chance to go ahead and upgrade and actually give something that Dak Prescott can really use, then why not? Why not? Why not? Forget OBJ. Am I still drafting wide receiver? Well, all depends who's there. If Rashee Rice, or I say if you got the opportunity to get the Addison, if you got maybe a Flowers, I say you pull that and go get that, right? I say you do. Even though Rice fits more in a type of wide receiver that we already have, can you really pass on somebody, man, that can really develop to be that guy? That when it's all said and done, you can have something good with him and CD, and maybe use Gallup on the wayside and throw him down by the riverside. You see, I thought, like I told y'all before, I never thought that we should have paid Gallup. And just think that we could have used that money into something else. If he was going to waste money, then why'd you waste money on something that was real of a need, though, man? That's my thing. Like, I honestly think that, wide receiver, you can always replace that. You can always go find you a good wide receiver. That's one of the positions that was going to always be there for you. It's just like with the Chiefs. They like, we need man, they got rid of Tyreek Hill and won the Super Bowl, man. They were talking about, they're going to suffer without Tyreek Hill, including me. I thought they was going to have maybe a little bit of a down year. And they messed around and won the Super Bowl by bringing in free agency wide receiver with Juju, Scantling. They drafted one. And they brought in trade. All their wide receiving core, other than probably Mecole Hardman, was not on that team last year. And they won the Super Bowl in their first year. And then you had the nerve to pay Michael Gallup coming off of an injury like that. See, that doesn't make sense. That's the type of things that keep you losing. That's the type of things that keep you losing. They can be like, oh, but Dak Prescott needs as many weapons as possible. Correct. You could go ahead and go get that. You could have traded for that, Fred, whatever you could have did. You could have went and did something better with that. But you chose to pay a man that shit they don't talk about. Oh, you need 2 years. Okay, so if you need 2 years, who's to say that he'll ever recover from that injury ever again? It's not a guarantee that he'll ever get back to the Michael Gallup he was. Just because we got all this technology, because if the technology was really that, then why he didn't recover last year? So it's always something. You never know with the human body. One day you may be feeling good, one day you might not. One day it may catch up with you. You may suffer an injury that you'll never be the same again. And who's to say that Michael Gallup didn't do just that? See, we see Jalen Smith recovered, but who's to say that knee wasn't giving him problems even though he recovered, and it kept giving him problems here and there? Who's to say that? Don't know. So we just going off of because the doctors say so. What about my body? What does my body say? And if we're gonna go off of Michael Gallup's body, then evidently he wasn't ready, and then evidently he wasn't ready up here, and that went on ahead. And if he so-called had that other injury, then that's what went on ahead and got him injured again. And you paid him. You paid him not to play. And then we want to talk about this and that, but you paid him not to produce. When you talk about you was relying on him and Tober, that doesn't make any sense, Jerry Jones. Not whatsoever. Like, man. Right. I'm not saying Gallup is weak, but I'm just saying what he was going through in the money situation and the way that the state of wide receivers are. I'm saying that we could have went into another direction, y'all. We knew that we're going to have to pay CD. That was not an option. But somebody like Michael Gallup, there's always a Michael Gallup coming out. There's always a Michael Gallup coming out. So if you would have not paid him and went another direction, you could go look at now. We could be like, now we could add a Rashee Rice or an Addison into the mix. But now we out here shouldering a burden of a contract that we don't even know if he's ever going to recover again. What makes we think that we're going to have the old Gallup this year? Well, you know, there's players that never ever recover from that, even with the technology. So what's to say that Gallup was going to do the same thing, and you paid him blindly knowing that, and then all of a sudden now you want to play Tony Pollard? Now you want to pay TP? Bro, what? How many decisions? Bro, what's going on? What are you doing, Jerry? Like, what are you doing? Since you made that blunder with Michael Gallup, then you should not do that with Tony Pollard. And then you go, so you eat this is what you eating. You want to go ahead and franchise a running back that you probably not gonna give a second contract to. You giving Zeke, who we see, regardless of the production or not, is a declining player. He's getting what, 16 mil, and then you're paying Gallup 12 to 13 mil for ACL. Come on, Jerry. Come on, Jerry. That make sense. That doesn't make any sense, Jerry. It really don't. It really don't. You giving money to declining players, you giving money to injured players, and you gonna give money to a player that you should know, that you should learn your lesson from the first time you did with Zeke. Who's to say TP gonna recover from that the way that he's supposed to recover from that? Who's to say? Yes, every investment comes with a risk. Yes, somebody can get hurt. Understand that comes with the game. But I thought you're supposed to try to maximize your position and maximize your investment. But you're really minimizing this team. You know, offense, we shouldn't be talking about offense in this light right now. We should have a better outlook. But now we're thinking that we got to have to transform this whole offense because of decisions that your GM made. The running back class is deep, but you want to franchise TP? The running back class is deep. But you still thinking about keeping Zeke? Now they talk about Zeke ain't got nothing left. I disagree because Zeke definitely showed that he got something left. But to pay a bruiser $16 million, like West Coast said, that was jersey sales, man. He paid that bruiser jersey sale money. If you want a bruiser, there's a man by the name of Bijan Robinson that'll go ahead and give you what you need. There's a whole bunch of bruisers coming out. Ibrahim from Minnesota. This off the top of my dome piece. Man, hold up. I got the running backs right here. Give me a second. You want to talk about bruisers? I'm looking at Bijan as a bruiser. I'm looking at what's his name, man? I'm looking at Charbonnet. If you want a bruiser. I'm looking at Dwayne McBride. If you want a bruiser. I'm looking at Roschon Johnson. If you want a bruiser. Come on, man. Look at Tank Bigsby if you want a bruiser. Eric Gray if you want a bruiser. Come on, man. And all that for $2.99. $2.99 and some food stamps and you get a bruiser. But you want to go ahead and pay $16 million. You want to go ahead, man. People out here giving food stamps $250 for $500, but you want to go get a $500 for the food stamps for $500 work. Well, you could have went on ahead and went to the grocery store, right? You could have went to the hood at Food Max and got the same fruits and vegetables, man, for $1 or $2 less. But you want to go ahead and shop Supreme just to get the same amount of pesticides on that organic fruit and vegetables that you would get in the hood. Come on, Jerry. We got to make this make sense, Jerry. Come on, man. I agree, Hilla. I agree too. I definitely agree with you on that one. I agree. I definitely agree. So it's just like, man, it's crazy, man. See, one decision can mess this whole thing up. One decision, y'all. And to be honest with you, Jerry gonna have to do some mismatching and remaking, some cutting, releasing, maybe some trading with his team, y'all. If he say that he really want to win, we're about to find out when free agency hit. When we get that alert and I go live talking about how Daron Payne is a Cowboy, then we're going to talk about something. But if I see that alert and I see that somebody who I don't like that messed around and picked up Daron Payne, we'll go. And if anything, go get, if you don't want, go get Kenny Clark. Go get Kenny Clark since you want the Green Bay thing, go get Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark would be good too. Go pick up Kenny Clark from Green Bay. If that's what it is, go get Kenny Clark. There's a whole bunch of other options that you can bring in that can help this team tremendously. If for some reason Daron Payne is just too much for you, sometimes you got to pay. I never, ever want to hear from Jerry's mouth talking about pay when you pay $16 million to a bruising running back on a decline. I never want to hear payment. I never want to hear money come out of his mouth. You giving Zeke free money. You giving Zeke money to perform like he did his rookie year. And he's not doing that. He's more of a complimentary running back right now. And you giving him $16 million. Don't you ever, Jerry, talking about the money. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable when you can get that same production cheaper and actually go pay somebody who's not only going to bring you production, but the mental, the intangibles to go ahead and help this defense. Because evidently, y'all, this defense was soft. Micah Parsons even told you, but we got 15 DNs. but we soft. See, you gotta read between the lines sometimes. Michael Parsons say we soft. We got all these DNs. Only to get neutralized because somebody want to throw the ball quick. Because they run it, they'll mess around and hit you with some screen passes. They'll mess around and run on you. So if you had all them DNs with somebody of Daron Payne's caliber, would they be able to run on you? No. So that's going to go ahead, not only going to stop them, help stop the short passing game, it's going to stop the run game, and then you're able to use the DNs that you got. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes less is more. You got enough DNs to get it done. You got Sam Williams, you got Law, you got Parsons, Armstrong, even though he's mediocre to me. You got these pass rushers. And you can go add you one in the draft, whatever you want to do. You can go add you another one if you want to. Or you can bring one back. You got enough. I done seen the Bengals go far with just one pass rusher, bro. Come on, bro. Come on. Let's be real here. Who's rushing the passer in the Bengals other than Hendrickson? Hubbard? Come on, man. You can pretty much say Hubbard is Dorrance Armstrong, but it's just a tad bit better in the run game. Who is really? We got BJ Hill, DJ Reader. Are they pass rushers? No. Come on, bro. We done went against the Niners. How many pass rushers? They got one? Huh? What is we talking here? The Eagles just lost to two pass rushers. It's Frank Clark and Chris Jones. So what's the use of getting all this depth on the D-line and you soft in the middle? Got to do something about that. Don't you think, Jerry? Don't you think Will McClay? Don't you think Stephen Jones? Don't you think Dan Quinn? You got to do something about it, don't you? Come on, man. We got to be real. We got to be real with this situation, man. And the cold thing about it is, I'm hot at Dan Quinn right now. How you go from having Mebane and Tony McDaniel in the middle? You knew how much stopping the run was. I hear people talking about, oh, they gave up a couple hundreds. Man, they wasn't giving up cheeks like that the whole year. They buckled down with them big boys up in the middle. Big Red, Brian, they buckled down. They had better people to stop the run than we did, even back then. But you thought, how you thought that was some real evolution? You need some real goons in the middle. That's what you need. Not no Mother May I individuals inside. You need some real goons. When somebody hear Daron Payne, just think the fear that D tackles have in their heart. You see, when we were doing our scouting report on the Redskins this year, the Commanders this year, right? Well, we always talked about. We ain't talk about nobody else on them defense, but who? We talked about that D-line, headed by Allen and Daron Payne. And who was stopping around whooping on us? Allen, Daron Payne. Yeah, they got Sweat on the outside. Young wasn't even there the whole year and still was out there punking us. So let's be real. D tackles make the world go round and round. Who won it last year? A D tackle, Aaron Donald. Am I correct? Who made the last play to go ahead and help seal them the victory? Aaron Donald. Who made that play? Chris Jones. So I'm looking at two interior D tackles who was rated the best back-to-back years, win the Super Bowl for their team. But you want to go ahead and be cheap in the inside? I love Hankins. Don't get it wrong. I love Osa. Don't get it wrong. Bohannon, I'm feeling it. Don't get it wrong. But you're going to have to give more talent inside, though, right? I'm cool with Osa being here. I'm even cool with paying Osa. But let's be real. You're going to have to go pay. Sometimes you got to pay to play, right? They always talk about paying to play. You got to pay to get in certain rooms. Sometimes people pay for their poom poom. You know what I'm saying? Well, if you want to go ahead and be respectable inside, then what you're going to have to do? You're going to have to go pay some D tackles. So if you ain't about to go ahead and go up in that draft and go get you a real one, then you want to go pay to get a real one. Everything costs, ain't nothing for free. So Jerry Cook out there talking about this and talking about that. But you gonna bring them big boys up in here. You gonna bring some real goons up in here, man. Quit playing, man. We soft. We soft. We ain't got no playmakers and we soft. Michael, see, we can talk about Michael Parsons, this, Michael Parsons, that, all we want to. But if you really want to think about if Michael Parsons gonna have a realistic shot at some 20 sacks, it ain't gonna do it with the way that your D tackles is right now. But I bet you gonna bring in some Daron Payne and see if Micah Parsons don't get that 20. Go see if Micah don't get that 20 after you didn't bring a real goon up in here like Daron Payne. You ain't got no real goons. You ain't got no real goons. You're gonna have to get you a real goon in the middle. And that's by the name of Daron Payne. You see the way he took over in the championship before he came out. You see the way he take over in the NFL. They got two Bama boys in the middle, wreaking havoc. And our worst showing in the run game was against who? The Washington Commanders. Why? Because they had some real goons in the middle. Come on, Jerry. Come on. Thomason. I like Thomason. I like Thomason. I do. I like Thomason. When we supposed to have interest in it before he even signed in Minnesota? Man, come on, man. We look at the Giants. Bro, the Giants ain't had no business being where they is at now. But what did they have? Some real goons in the middle. What did they do? Went to go ahead and put some paper on there, Leonard Williams, put some paper over there with Dexter Lawrence, and you had two of the top D tackles wreaking havoc. Top three as far as combination in the inside. Why? Real goons. That's what got them to the playoffs. Not Daniel Jones and them. Because them D tackles was balling. We talked about Leonard Williams. We wanted Leonard Williams. Didn't get him. Come on, the Giants pretty much had the same amount of success that we had on a lesser team, bro. They can't sit over there and tell me about anything about talent. Bro, the Giants went on ahead and allocated resources where they were supposed to. They had Jalen Smith, that linebacker, bro. They had rookies. They had young guys on the outside. Who was sticking that corner again? Safety got hurt. Who was they throwing it to again? Slayton? Richie James? Who? Who was that tight end? Who? Daniel Jones? Who? They talking about we need O-line. Other than the tackles, what was their O-line? Evan Neal was given the business. Their best O-lineman is at left tackle. But they went to the second round? And we got all this talent accumulated, and we get to the same position as them, and we don't see a problem with that. Teams is doing more with less, but it seems like we got to have more just to do what they do with less. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. It's unacceptable, man. Unacceptable, man. And what y'all want me to do next? Y'all want me to look at the O-line next, the interior or the exterior, or y'all want me to go quarterbacks? Where y'all want me to go next? Interior linemen, tackles, or quarterbacks? Eagles going to draft Bijan at 10. Yeah. They're getting aggressive. They want to get back to the Super Bowl. But Jerry, we don't want to mortgage the future. What future, bro? What future? What future? What future do we have? Come on, bro. We sit over there and make good draft pick after draft pick, man, in the same position. What future do we have, Jerry? What? Where? What? Mortgage what? Come on, man. Either O-line. Okay, I'll go O-line. It's crazy, man. But it's the real though, man. I seen somebody. Man, I forgot what I was looking at, but they was trying to compare us to the Arizona Cardinals. But I couldn't really argue because the only thing that we got is rings, man. Like we really been underperforming for like almost 30 years, yo. We really been underperforming for almost 30 years, man. It's time for Jerry to go ahead and do something about it, man. It really is, man. Like we sitting up here talking about the same thing, bro. And to be honest with you, it's not rocket science. Jerry got to ask himself this question: what have you done these past 20 years, even you with you not mortgaging the future? How have you created a future? Because I know we ain't sitting over there talking about celebrating beating Tom Brady and only to lose to a rookie. I know we're not celebrating that. A Niner team that we should have smoked beat us. We should have smoked the Niners. We should have smoked them. Underperforming and overpaying. I agree wholeheartedly, Jay Bird. I agree wholeheartedly. Underperforming and overpaying. You see good teams still performing. They pay people who deserve it, and then they go ahead and go cheap, right? Like I said, let's look at the Commanders again real quick, right? They went cheap on the back end, right? But they allocated them resources up front though. Chase Young, Sweat, Allen, Payne, brought Davis in. You know, what did the Eagles do? Edwards, White. They seen the identity of how they wanted to run their defense. And then they went on a hit and brought. They said the secondary was really going to be our bread and butter. So what did they do? Slay, Bradbury, Gardner Johnson, right? They started allocating for the back end, right? They seen a solution. They seen a problem, and they hurry up and try to find the best solution that they can. We have a problem, and they think that we won't go ahead and throw a Band-Aid on. How we gonna throw a Band-Aid? How are we gonna throw a Band-Aid and we got hit by a knife? What is a knife cut gonna do? A sword cut gonna do with a band? What a Band-Aid gonna do with a sword cut? We done got hit with some real key shoe thing, man. We done got hit with something real nice and fat, but we want to put a Band-Aid over something that's gashing us. What's a Band-Aid gonna do, man? Huh? And our band, you know what our Band-Aid was? Hankins. That was a Band-Aid. That was a Band-Aid. Hankins was a Band-Aid. Right? We were supposed to go into surgery. But we only put a Band-Aid on. And wonder why this team keep being infected. Because we keep putting Band-Aids on something that's supposed to be getting stitches and stuff. We're supposed to be stitching this stuff, cleaning it out, getting stitches, but we putting Band-Aids on this stuff. It ain't gonna work, man. It ain't gonna work. It is not going to work whatsoever, y'all. But anywho, man, appreciate y'all for coming through. Get ready to get back to work, man. Start working on these guards. I'm probably gonna go with the interior stuff. We're gonna go interior. Right, look at this interior. Cause I know I probably might have to go a little deeper. Cause I know I'm probably gonna get a match of probably some centers and guards. And look, if you can find an upgrade, I'm cool with that. So yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do. So I'll probably be looking at both. But I know mainly, even regardless of what we do with Tyler Schmidt, Zach Martin coming up, McGovern, I believe that interior should be something to at least take a look at. Whether you pull the trigger or not, it should be something to be looked at, right? Tackle, don't know what you're gonna do because you can cut Tyron and very well try to bring him back on something. Peters, so you can went from tackle being a strong suit to a very weakness, right? So that tackle position probably deserves some look at too, right? Because only thing you got is what? Well, let's go and ball and still coming off an injury if you don't have no Peters and you know what I mean? And so now you got, even though I like Waletzko, you have an unproven commodity with Waletzko, and you have Ball that, not too many like, and then you have Steele, who's a good player, but's coming off an injury. So that should bring some type of concern to what we got going on. And how could we sit over there and want to bring back Peters over Tyron Schmidt? I would rather bring back Tyron Schmidt. Probably Jay Bird. So we're gonna have to replace that free agency pretty soon, or whatever, because we gotta start thinking about the future. All right, we gotta start thinking about the future. And I always say, look, this is my thing. If you're gonna find a very good guard, then go ahead and put Smith at tackle. If you can find a very good left tackle, whether it be Waletzko, draft, or whatever case may be, throw him in that guard. That's the bonus of going ahead and making that pick last year. You're able to have some type of flexibility to make what move that you, or every direction that you want to go. I honestly think that he should be pushed inside, but if you can find you an elite guard or whatever case may be, then go ahead and push him outside. But we're going to see how this thing going to work. Right. Ball. We definitely don't want him at no swing left tackle. And then still, yeah, we offensive line definitely got some addressing to do as well. Definitely got some addressing to do at the offensive line as well, man. So it ain't like it's just wide receiver, linebacker, cornerback. We got to look at some. We got a little bit more than that. We got D tackle, running back, offensive line. We got some things to think about. It ain't like we ain't got a lot of holes, because we do, right? We do, especially that defense, man. We got holes on each level of that defense that we're gonna have to fill. So pretty much, man, in this draft, everything should go. All should go, whether it be a corner that may fall to us, whatever the case may be. All of that should go, because we don't know, what can happen. A position that we look at as a strength could be a strength today, but, a need tomorrow. So we're going to have to make some things happen, man. But anywho, man, I appreciate y'all. I'm going to get back to work, man. And we'll be back up on here soon, man, to get ready to talk about this offensive line, man. But all right, y'all, man, we up out of here.